Welcome back, guys. It is so nice to have you back in part 2 of our game dev story game. And so we're in the process of developing our first game, and let's just continue. Right now, when you hit 40% of the development process, we're going to be prompted to have someone work on the graphics of our game. So luckily for us, in the previous part, we hired a graphics person. And as you can see on the stats on the right here, the graphics stat, she has a 36, which is the highest of anyone we have here. Oh, these are actually contractors. So there is a contractor right now who does have a higher graphics stat, but he is going to cost us $95,000 just for one job. So we're not going to do that. We're going to stick with the in-house graphics person. So this is interesting because we do have a decoder here who, oh, sorry. Yeah, so we have a decoder here who is pretty much only good at graphics, and so that's what we're gonna use her for. And I just love the sound effects for this. Always love the sound effects. When we get more and more skilled employees, you're gonna just see these employees just go crazy with these stats. I mean, some of these employees can get. I am not joking with you. I have seen an employee go 150. Okay, so once you reach triple digits for any one of these stats, the 100 doesn't even show. It just rolls over into 0, and it just goes back up. And once we get towards the later parts of this game, we're gonna have people who are so skilled they can put out 150 stats all by themselves during this process. Right now we're still in the beginning stages. We're not going to get good stats, good ratings, good reviews, good anything, and we're just going to be trying to make it by, you know? We don't have a fan base, we don't have an audience, we don't have the capital, the staff to create these really good games, but I think this is good enough. So you saw just one of our employees just leaving just now, and he left, and he's coming back now because he ran out of energy. And that's why energy is so important for the quality of employee, because when our employee is leaving and going home and then coming back, he's not at his computer and desk working on our game. And so we're missing out on a lot of productivity that someone with a higher energy level would be able to contribute. And that's why it's so important to replace our staff. So now we're reaching the 80% mark of our game development, and this is the point where we actually get to work on the audio, the sound quality of our game. And this is also very important, especially later on when you have musical games. If you want to develop musical games, I don't think I've actually created too many music games. I think I've created 1 or 2, so I might have some stats on that, but not too much. It's generally not the best-selling type of game. So yeah, so you always like hearing that when someone is excited about it. They say, oh, I want to create something that no one's ever done before, or I want to do something. Oh, well, this is pretty modest when it comes to stats. I don't think that he did the best job, but this is just the beginning nonetheless, and we're just gonna keep working on this. So yeah, you can see 3 of our employees are not working at their desks, and that's a lot of stats that our game is not gaining because our employees have low energy relative to some of the employees we're going to get later on. But for our first game, this is actually not too shabby. It's pretty decent for our first game. So the debugging game is the debugging phase is after we complete the game, the development. You're gonna look on the bottom here, where you see new, and then you see the game stats, and then you see debugging, hype, fame, and right on the bottom right corner, you're gonna see this animal or bug-looking icon, and next to it you have this 8 in red, and that's how many bugs are in our game. So actually right now, since we finished our game, we can actually ship out the game even with the bugs included. But again, I think that quality is, the way to go. It's not gonna save us too much time, but for someone who wants to play this game completely optimally, they may choose to, at least in the beginning, to ship these games out with bugs so that we can start working on the next game as soon as possible. But for me right now, I'm all about debugging. I want quality games going out. I want our fans to excuse me. I want our fans to enjoy our games. So we're going to just spend a little bit of time on this, a few days, maybe a week, 2 weeks, debugging this game. And yeah, so our game is completed, and now it's time to get our game tested by some reviewers, and we're gonna finally see how well our game sells. It'd be amazing if our game sold over 100k, but I think that maybe around 50k is a more realistic goal, and that's going to bring us a lot of money in. It's going to be, for me at least, it's going to be a pretty good morale boost. You finish a product and then you send it out there and you get people start using it, and that's really cool, I think. Alright, let's see what people think. And they're not going to have a very high, a 4 is already incredibly high for the first game. A 5 is just okay. A 16 is definitely very good for our first game, but obviously in the grand scheme of things, it's not that well. It's not that good. But anyways, so our game is on sale, and the game officially starts selling during the first day of the next week. So if you look on the top left here above develop, you're gonna see year 1, month 8, week 1, and you see that dot next to week 1, and that dot is gonna be moving up and down, and each movement signifies one day's passage. So right now we're at towards the end of the week, and in just a little while we're gonna be selling the game. But since we already finished the game, let's look at how our staff is doing. Let's look at if they're tired or what. So it looks like some staff could use a rest, but at this point, this early in the game, they're just always going to need rest, and there's no point. The reason why we would want to give them rest is so that they have full energy going into the next game, and so they can sit at the desk as long as possible. But we already know they're going to be taking 1 or 2 breaks during the development process, so it really doesn't matter that you start off with low energy, because alright, just take a break. You're going to take breaks anyway, and you're going to come back with 100%. So yeah, so I'm not too concerned. And of course the energy level is on the right hand side here beneath the energy, and then you have a percentage there. 100% is full energy. You have D here who has 50%. And yeah. So we're gonna be right now, I do want to, before we develop our next game, I do want to start leveling up our employees here. So we have a writer, okay, and this guy has relatively low energy, so he's going to be replaced soon. But I do want to level him up, because by leveling him up, even though it may seem like a waste because he's going to get replaced and we're not going to get that to benefit from the leveling up for that long, despite that, we want to level him up in order to unlock some things that he can unlock. If you have if you level a writer up all the way to level 5, you're gonna have new genres, new types that come out, and so I do want to keep him around long enough to unlock those things, because once the game develops, we're not going to have a lot of writers on our staff. We might have a coder. We're probably not going to have a designer. We're probably not going to have a sound engineer. We're just going to be having directors and producers who can pretty much do anything. Like, they have high stats and everything. So we're not going to be keeping them around. So that's why it's important right now to level these guys up so that we can actually unlock the genres and types before it's too late to unlock them, because you don't want to end up hiring really expensive directors and producers and then replace them, right? So right now we're just going to do this, and we can also do some basic training right now. So we did the level up, and that unlocks some stuff, but training also unlocks stuff, right? So I'm actually not too familiar with what type of training unlocks what for each employee's job. So we're just gonna go through every employee, and actually with 108k, I'm not too sure how much I want to invest in training just now, because we need money to develop games. Nope. Our game is on sale right now, and it looks like on the first day or two we already have almost 5,000 units, and that's fantastic. That's great. We have a lot of, we're starting to get some fans. So right now I'm just going to, yeah, so you can look at the development cost right now, it's already over 100,000. So we are going to be a little bit tight with money for the near future, but hopefully with game sales we're going to have a lot of positive things happen. So we do have these new genres thanks to the employees we hired, and as you can see, we have when it comes to popularity, we have an RPG here, and the RPG has a popularity of A, so that's the most popular rating. And some of our other options are action games, and action game actually goes with historical and ninja extremely well, so we may choose to pursue the action genre with the ninja. And of course, action is pretty expensive. You can look at our development costs right now. It just went up to over $200,000. And let's take a look here. So the ninja genre is more popular than the historical, so that's what we're going to go with right now. And of course, we're going to go with quality of direction, as always. And so we're going to action game world. Yep, that looks pretty good. For an action game, I am tempted to maybe put some into realism, because I think that a realistic ninja action game is pretty cool. But I also don't want to take too many stats away, but so yeah, we're gonna put someone into realism here. And we're gonna have someone to write our thing again. And we did use John last time to write our scenarios, but if you use the same employee too many times in a row, they start getting sick of doing the same job, you know, too many times in a row. So you want to have a staggered, eventually we're going to have a staggered schedule where maybe two employees alternate in successive games in the jobs that they do. So for example, maybe we had John here write our last scenario for the last game. We might use another, eventually when we get better employees, we might start using someone to write a scenario, even with lower stats, write a scenario for this game. So that's always something to keep in mind. So as you can see, we do have a sound engineer here who does have pretty high scenario writing stats. So I'm just gonna go with this guy because right now the difference between them is maybe 2 or 3 scenario points, and that's not gonna make or break a game. So let's see how this guy does. Okay. Yes, I regret that little fit. Oh jeez, this guy really didn't give us much. That was a really pathetic attempt. I mean, later on you're gonna see employee going through 5 or 6 cycles of those things dropping, and they're gonna be dropping dozens and dozens per cycle. So the fact that this guy is giving 6 scenario points, that's not very good. That's not all that good. But so if we scroll down the bottom bar here, we can see our game sales while we also keep track of how our game is developing. So, okay, the first week we only had 21,000 units. That's not bad for our first game. And we actually made it onto the top 30 chart, which is pretty good for our first game. Very, very good. I didn't get it too bad in my first, I think, game or 2. So, and we're pretty high up there. We're number 25. That's really cool. Eventually, we're just going to be dominating the #1 chart, obviously. And we're going to be winning a lot of awards, and every single award, actually. We're going to be doing some crazy, crazy things. But right now, we're just developing. Yeah, I can't afford this right now. I'm going to show you guys what this is later on. Right now I can't afford this because you have to spend money and research points. My staff just isn't skilled enough right now to make this worthwhile, but afterwards we are going to start using this, but right now it's not the time. So we are getting some nice money coming in. We have over 300,000. I think by the time our game finishes selling, we might end up with maybe $500,000 or so. So that's really cool. We hit the 40% mark, and we're going to be working on the graphics. For graphics, I'm not going to make the same mistake twice. I'm going to go with the graphics designer. Okay, 11. So clearly our staff isn't giving us too much for this game. So I'm a little bit concerned about the quality of the game once we finish. And of course our staff is taking a break right now. Oh, so game 1 is now off the market, over $50,000 sold. That's very good for a first game, so I'm happy about that. And we're hitting 80% mark, and a lot of our employees haven't been working for very long. So, okay, so now we're getting sound. I am just gonna go with this guy again. Oh man, Abraham, you're just giving me nothing for this game. What's going on here? What's going on with you, man? It's giving me nothing for this game. Single digits, jeez. This is gonna be our breakthrough game. We got the perfect combination of games. It's really popular genre and type, and we're supposed to, put out something greater for our fans. And you're just really slacking off right now. Yeah, you should be back at your desk. You shouldn't be coming up to me asking for things. Okay, so what this is a gaming company just released a new console. And actually, every console in this game has a real-life counterpart. So, when you look at the name of this console company, Senga, of course, that's Sega, and the console, they all have a real-life counterpart. Well, not every console. Later on, the consoles get pretty ridiculous. You end up having like a really popular console that's actually just a toilet. That's really funny. But in the beginning, at least, you're gonna have like real-life counterparts to things like Dreamcast, Super Nintendo, things like that. So yeah. And the only thing that really matters when it comes to these consoles is their units. You want to see how many users actually use their console, and that's going to help us make decisions about which consoles to eventually develop for. And of course, you do have to do some cost-benefit analysis. So if consoles only have slightly fewer users but vastly cheaper licensing cost, then you may want to just go with the slightly less popular console. You're not losing much. Yeah, so this one has almost 1 million units, and that's more than the only other console on the market right now. So we might develop a game or two for this console eventually, but right now we don't have really the money to think about it, and we don't have the popularity. We're not selling to our max potential. We're not missing out on sales because we don't have enough users using the PC. So that's not a concern for us right now, and it doesn't really make too much sense because we're just going to have more and more consoles coming out with more and more users. So it doesn't make too much sense for us to invest in these consoles just yet. Yeah, so if you look at our new game, the sound is a little bit lacking, the graphics is a little bit disappointing, but at least we have a lot of creativity relative to the last game. So I'm not, you know, that happy. I think if this were in real life, I would, with over $300,000 in the bank, I would just, you know, put in a few weeks into developing this game. But a few more weeks. Yeah, so we have these, so every bug that we do debug, if you look on the upper left hand side, we get an extra research data point, and that's going to help us level up our employees. So yeah, we have a new record for creativity, but unfortunately this game is actually worse in every other way to our previous game. So, and I suspect that our reviewers are going to let us know about the quality of this game. Yeah, so not too good right now. Oh wow, we got a 6. So this guy must really like action adventure games. Nice. I'm surprised we got a 6 so early on. Okay, so that's not too bad. The reviews are pretty decent, but ultimately, the reviews don't really matter. Just the sales that matter. For our company right now. So I am tempted to. I do need to level up my writer as soon as possible. This way I can replace him after I finish unlocking everything I want to unlock. But he is gaining some nice stats for scenario writing, so. But unfortunately, he just has such low energy that I don't trust him on the staff because he's going to be in and out for just too big of a portion of the development process. So I don't really trust in what he can do. So the first week we're getting some pretty good sales in the first week. I think that my secretary is right. I think that we have 500,000. We do need a new staff, but it's going to take us a game or two to fully level up our writer so that we can actually replace him. And we may want to level up some other staff members too, so we can take advantage of getting new applicants in and replacing them as well. So let's develop games. So if we were hiring employees, if we're thinking about hiring employees relatively soon, then we're not going to spend money on licensing any consoles because we want to save the money for the employee hiring. However, right now, I just want to take a look at how much licensing is going to cost us. Okay, so that's out of our price range. Yeah, so we're not going to worry about that for this one. But eventually, we may want to worry about it. Yep. So, we do have So I mentioned earlier about having a staggered system, and I think that it may not be a bad idea to start implementing the stagger system. And that's just where we make a different game back to back. And eventually we're going to have two very effective combinations that we're going to create just staggered back to back. So one game's action ninja, maybe another one's RPG something. And this way we can use different employees and find out which employees work better. And this way we can start rotating them, and then they won't get sick of working on the same thing over and over again. But for this one, let me take a look. We have these genres. I'm surprised by how popular puzzle is. Maybe we'll make a puzzle game. Why not? And the puzzle game goes well with Reversy. I've never played this Reversy before, and the development cost is actually pretty reasonable. So, in the interest, since it's so cheap, in the interest of building our fan base as quickly as possible and improving our company as quickly as possible, we're going to utilize the budget plus direction, which will allow us to finish the game a lot more quickly with also high quality. So, yeah, that's good. For a puzzle game, I don't think we need really game world stats. We just need this game to be fun, good, realistic. I don't think that we really need to be realistic. Maybe I'll use some niche appeal for this. Doesn't need to be cute. And yeah, that's good. I want my writer to write this for me. Okay, let's see what this can do. Let's see what you can do, John. So far, promising. No, single digits again. I am disappointed right now. Oh well. Wow. It's a lot of sales. We didn't make it in the top 10 with those. Okay. But those are I mean, we are selling a lot of games right now. It's only the second week. We might hit 100,000 for this game. That's incredible. That's twice as many games as we sold for the last one. Yeah, so we're getting a lot of fan base. And the good thing about making a lot of different types of games and different genres of games is that we start gaining fans really quickly because we hit all the demographics. So maybe you have a cute animal game that appeals to a lot of younger audiences, but you also may have some maybe puzzle games for older generations. So, not bad. We have a lot of fans. Yep, we hit 100,000. Pretty good. And we're gonna be over $1 million. We have over $1 million right now. Awesome. And I just want to throw out, I just want to say, I've played this game a few times already, so I have a lot of things leveled up. I have a lot of game points, direction points to spend. I have, you know, the game types and the game genres I'm using are already leveled up to like level 5 for some of them. So these are things that are not going to be available to you if you're first playing the game. So I highly recommend you guys don't get discouraged if you're selling a lot less than what I'm selling so quickly. But the game development process is going to take some time, and you're going to be leveling up your own stats. So don't worry too much about these measures, but the things that you can take away from what I'm doing is how I'm managing my staff, how I try to find good combinations for games, regardless of how skilled I am in making them, and just these are the things that are more important for your first time playing. So yeah, as you can see, I'm doing very well selling this game. Yeah, sorry, have expertise right now to make the most out of that. I need to use my resource data points to level you guys up. I can't use them to develop this game. Character design, same deal. Graphics girl. Let's hope we get some good graphics from her. We obviously didn't get too much last game. Oh jeez. I don't think. Yeah, so I'm all about replacing my staff right now. These guys are just not giving me too much. So it looks like we're getting some media attention, which is awesome. That's gonna help us with our fans. I think advertising isn't a bad idea. I'm so rich right now that I can spend fully for my development cost next game. I can start developing consoles. I can also hire the best staff I can have access to right now. And so I have, right now in the beginning of the game, you want to put your money to use as quickly as possible. You want to use the most popular, develop for the most popular consoles. You want to hire the best staff you can, get as many fans as you can, and this will all start paying off towards the later part of the game. So it really doesn't make too much sense to have just money sitting around. You want to invest them to do things for you. So yeah, I am just so rich right now that I actually don't need to spend too much money now, because these cheaper ads are going to be also very effective right now. So I'm going to advertise using these methods until they don't work anymore, and then we move on to the more expensive ones. Even though I wish we can just, buy a marching band and gain like hundreds of new fans, but that's not how it works in this game, because you just gain them very slowly. So yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fans. So you can already tell, like, this is becoming less and less effective. If you look at the 13 to 18 age range of males, there was no gain from this advertising campaign, so we're already getting some diminishing returns. Let's see how our advertising affects our sales in this week of game selling. It is going to help us with the next game that we sell, but unfortunately the next game we sell, it doesn't have the most popular combinations. Okay, so we sold 138,000 copies. That's incredible. I am just I'm ecstatic. I'm very happy about that. So the beta is completed. Let's get our sound engineer working on our sound, and hopefully you can give me double digits, Abraham, because last time I'm a little bit disappointed. Oh, jeez. I am going to have to let you go, Abraham. I think you're not pulling your weights. Alright. So it's shaping up to be a, not the best game I've ever put out. I'm a little bit disappointed right now, but here's what I'm going to do. I am going to... Oh, I still have to wait. I'm so tempted to just start hiring better employees, but I'm worried that I'm not going to have a chance to level up some of these professions in the future. I want to get my writer to level 5 as quickly as possible so I can get him out of here. Yeah, so my writer is just... Okay, let's get this guy leveled up. Alright. One more level and then he's gonna be maxed, and then I can replace him. 2 more bugs to go. So the first year we don't have to pay for our employee salaries, but after this, at the end of the first quarter of every year, we do need to pay our employees. So for the first year, the government helps take care of it to encourage business, and but we have a lot of money, so we're going to be in good shape regardless. We don't need to worry too much about that. But if money does run tight, just remember that you can always do contract work. You can always do contract work, and that's going to get you a lot of money without any initial money invested. So we finished our third game. Great. I am going to end our video here because this is running a little bit too long. It's over 30 minutes, and it just seems like the longer the videos that I create, the wackier there just seems to be more errors that can happen on my video editing program. So I've lost a hour-long video before because of and it takes forever to at least on my computer. I think I do need to upgrade my computer because it's not very fast, but it does take a very long time for longer videos. So I am going to end this here, and our game 3 is finished. So we don't really know how well this game is going to sell because we have not the most popular genre and not the most popular type of game, and it's going to be difficult to know how well this game sells, and also our stats for this game isn't very good. So these are things that are going against our game, but what's going for our game is we have a lot more fans now, and we can spend more on advertising, and so it's really hard to guess at how well this game is going to perform. But if you stick around and watch the next video, we'll find out how well it's going to go. So, anyways, thanks a lot guys for watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.